Okay, everybody, it is 7:00, 7:01, sorry, on Tuesday, October 7th, and I'm calling to order our regular council meeting for the Township of Nipigon. So we'll start with our land acknowledgement as always. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Corporation of the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and the township further respectfully acknowledges the historic presence of other signatories on these lands. Addendum to the agenda tonight? Nope. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. So this is where, so at our closed session, I did last week declare pecuniary interest. Do I say one?
Yeah.
Okay, so because there was a discussion about our new youth council member, who is my daughter, so I had to step out for that to approve her application. Okay, so approval of previous council minutes. So these are from September 23rd, 2025, our regular meeting minutes. Does anybody have any concerns about those? Additions or deletions? Okay, so we have a resolution. Who would like to move? Councillor Cartwright, seconded by Councillor Westhaver. So resolution 2025-221, moved by Councillor Cartwright, seconded by Councillor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council approves the regular meeting minutes of September 23rd, 2025 as presented. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. And just before we move on, sorry, I forgot to mention that Councillor Harper has sent his regrets. And Councillor Hart did not, but he's not here at the start, so I'm assuming he's not coming in tonight, but we do have quorum, so this is good. And before we move on, I just want to introduce our student council member. This is Sasha Barber, and she is going to be our council member. The term begins tonight and ends at our last meeting in June. And just to let everybody know, the student council member, this is the first time we've had this in Nipigon, which is very exciting. So thank you, Sasha, for putting in your application. So the way that this works is they get the, or she gets the council package just like we do, except if there's anything confidential or anything in those packages that we get, sometimes there is. She wouldn't see any of that, and she does not stay for the closed session for the confidential information. So but she does have just like all of us do, an opportunity to comment and give suggestions and etc. ask questions. Okay.
It would be like the other. I guess it would be like the other one we met in Yoma. He was just a go-getter and brought anything that he wanted as a student, and with his friends and other staff even that he could bring forward, and he was really good at it. We appreciate it very much. Welcome aboard.
All right. Okay, so next item number 4 is recreation. So we have the committee meeting minutes from September 15th, 2025. I'm thinking that I'm on my iPad. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the recreation minutes? There is a recommendation associated with this. So the recommendation is to move the fitness room age to enter without a parent or guardian to 14 years of age from 15 years of age. So just a little explanation. I'm on that committee, so just a little explanation of that discussion that we had about that. There are quite a few teenagers coming out and going to the gym, which is a very healthy activity, which should be encouraged. And there are some, young people that are, you know, in high school and, still can't go in because they're 14 years old instead of 15, so we figured that they would be mature enough at that age to come in without a parent. Sasha, do you have any questions about or comments about that? Do you think that's a good idea? Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I did want to comment too on item M, right before the recommendations, so, in regards to the recreation plan, we discussed, at the committee, they're going out October 6th, which was yesterday. With the committee to go out and take a look, inventory our recreation facilities and just see where they're at. And, so we did do that last night, and, Michael is here tonight too, who was out and about on that stuff. And so it was really an interesting venture, and I think it was well worth the time to do it and see where things were needing some care and be putting that plan together for the next 5 years to plan on improving things, and it was very helpful actually, so I want to thank the committee for coming out and spending the time to do that. Great. All right, so we have a resolution here, which includes the recommendation. So who would like to move this? Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. We don't really have a choice tonight. So this is resolution 2025-222, moved by Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council receives the September 15th, 2025 Recreation Committee meeting minutes as presented. And as a recommendation of the committee, increases the minimum wage to enter the fitness room. It's decrease. Decrease.
What we know?
The minimum age to enter the fitness room without a parent to 14 years,
Yeah.
previously 15 years, yeah. So I just made yeah. Okay, all in favor? Opposed and carried.
Absolutely.
All right, Councilor Hart. You want to Sasha, can you just move down a little bit towards Lars, and we're gonna fit Glennon down here. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, come on in, I have to grab something.
Great's not here either.
He thought we're gonna have more elbow room. That's okay. Yeah.
A lot taller than that. Yeah, I know. I got that one last time.
Okay. All right, next, on the agenda, we have our CAO report 2025-10-07-01. Okay. All right. So this is to declare, for us to declare 5 municipal properties as surplus, that's a recommendation. And to enter into an agreement to sell the surplus lands located at 32 Radisson Street to Crystal and Andrew Jeanette. Pretty self-explanatory, but one of the properties does include the property where the old curling club is, which if people don't know where that is, that's the recycling people on First Street. So that's one of the properties that we're looking to declare surplus and put up for sale. It's unsightly and it's for multi-residential. It's large enough to be used for multi-residential, so. Does anyone have any questions? Lars, is there anything you want to talk about in the report before?
Nothing too crazy or too in depth. Just the note that if these are declared surplus, we still have to do the appraisals with these properties. I would assume that the ones on the Harkness and Green Manor are gonna be of similar value, given the proximity and size to each other. The zoning for the old curling club gives a bit more flexibility as far as potential development. And I would assume that the individual who would be acquiring the property would be responsible for tearing down the building, so there's some stuff in there we would need to take out before that. And you would arrange that in proposed sale transfer build. These are also expecting to increase water, sewer, and property taxation revenues for the town, which long term reduces the rates for everybody as well.
Anyone have any questions for Lars?
No, they're all service lots.
Yeah, they're all service lots, which is good. I just wanna say, I really like how when you put in a report, or like the other staff reports too, how you align it, or you mention how it aligns with our strategic plan. So that's really important, because I know a lot of people wonder what the strategic plan is and what the point of it, and people that are aware of strategic plans, sometimes they get put on a shelf and they don't get used, but I just really like how you're always referring to that, and how we're working towards the completion of implementation of the strategic plan, so that's appreciated as well. So yeah, there's financial benefits, as Lars was mentioning, and then any issues or anything in regards to 32 Radisson Street, with the Janet's purchasing the land beside their property. Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
When they do this, we're assuming that either if it's big a property with no host, there's going to be a resident that's going to build on it, because it's not lot for any other purpose, so.
Good question. We have looked in the past, like we are working on a community improvement plan right now where some of the proposed surplus lots would require development within 2 years. For this specific property, their intent is to deed it with beside the property, so essentially take the 2 lots and combine them into one. So that would allow them to put in a potential development such as like a garage or expansion of the house.
Okay, so we do have a resolution for this. Who would like to move? I think you need to move something, Glenn, because these two have been putting their hands up.
Okay.
All right. So let's move by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. So this is resolution 2025-223, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved that council receives staff report 2025-10-0701 for information and declares the following properties as surplus. Harkness Street, roll 5844-000002319928, plan 55M482 lot 58. Harkness Street, roll number 5844-00000231927000. Plan, I should be an auctioneer.
Yeah.
Plan 55M482 lot 59. Harkness Street, roll 5844-0000023192600000. Plan 55M482 lot 60. Fremantle Drive, roll number 5844-0000023193100000. Plan 55M482 lot 56. 113 First Street, the Old Curling Club, roll number 5844-00001133000000. Plan 24 BLK 2 lot 20 and 21 zoned commercial downtown. All in favor?
I think you missed one, you have to start over.
Not likely, not very likely. All in favor, opposed, and carried. Oops. All right. All right, next we have our public works staff report 2025-10-0702. And we have Taylor Haskell on the line here. Oops, wait. Do we have something for that? I think we have the OPP, okay.
There's Taylor. Make me jump back.
I don't know.
No, I don't think we're gonna be too. So, next in our package, we have, a letter from the Ontario Provincial Police. Just to summarize, an 11% cap is being established on the increase in policing costs owed by municipalities for the 2026 calendar year when compared to 2025. Excluding the costs related to any service enhancements. And there will be a new discounts table established in regulation and will apply to the 2026 billing year going forward. And we're expecting the bill in 2020 or November, right? 2025, obviously. When I had my delegation with him, I did ask for a 5% cap, but he doubled it in plus. So anyways, it's better than 18%. Any comments on that one, Lars? Is it probably more than expected or?
Yeah, a bit more, but the impact on the total could be substantial. I mean, 5% would be about 20,000. 11 is about 45 to 50, so could be a difference on that one. But I believe there's some calls for service and maximum amount that may help us. So we'll see.
Does anyone have any questions or anything for Lars on that he would need to find out? I guess we'll find out in November when we get our bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is it just that these are missing off of this agenda? These like the OPP and the bylaw, where are they? I don't think they're on here.
It should be.
Number 5, yeah, B and C.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, you know what's confusing me is they were sandwiched between the sale of the 32 Radisson. Cause I have that crossed out and I didn't, okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, next we have notice of public hearing for zoning bylaw amendment, October 21st, 2025. This is about the shipping containers.
Yeah.
So this is, I believe I received a phone call about this probably within the first month or two that that I was mayor. So this has been a long time, coming, getting sort of worked on. I believe prior, there were no shipping containers at all,
Yeah.
allowed, and so, there was a business owner that contacted me about it because he didn't know about it, he was brand new in town and he was upset about it, so we relooked at that. And a lot of work has gone into, looking at this, and it looks like we have also a report from TELUP. Looking at what other communities have done, this is a really good report, very detailed and very complete. Like that there's recommendations too, and what other communities have done. Is there anything you wanna discuss coming out of here?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the main meat and potatoes of this report is in Appendix A, that's the draft bylaw that would be considered at the October 21st meeting. So notice a public hearing on that was provided, which is a 20-day requirement, and then there's a list of people that have to receive this. Proposed zoning amendment, so that was sent out on October 1st to meet that deadline. Just chatting with Tella today, they didn't mention that some of the recommendations specifically with downtown commercial can be amended. This is just their recommendations and we can tweak as needed. Specifically for downtown commercial zones, they did mention that we could remove the need for an angled roof on those, specifically because lots of commercial buildings are flat, and it would still be consistent with the look. And that the commercial zone for downtown would still require to be in the back of the property. So you're still not gonna see a container at the front. If that was still in that scenario, and that, so there may be a recommended amendment on those ones, but that's the consistency of what it's gonna be. There's gonna be specific controls for each scenario, but Mary, you were correct. They were not allowed at any other location, so now this is giving specific allowances across the board. But the residentials have to have siding to make it look like a building that's consistent with the whole.
Or fencing, right?
For commercial, yeah, in some cases to, I guess, cover some of the viewing, yeah, that's correct.
Does anyone have any questions about, we're not approving this obviously tonight, we're just, this is for information. And comment obviously. And then it'll be considered further on the 21st, October 21st regular meeting. No, I think it's good, and I think it's the justification of it is good in this report as well, for economic development and business expansion and everything. It makes sense for sure. Okay. So we have a resolution just to receive the draft zoning bylaw amendment report related to the shipping containers. And that the amendment be set to further considered further at the October 21st meeting. So who would like to move this? Councillor Hart. Okay, seconded by Councillor Westhaver. So this is resolution 2025-224, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Westhaver. Be it resolved that council receives the draft zoning bylaw amendment report related to shipping containers from Tulloch Engineering for information, and that this amendment is set to be considered further at the October 21st, 2025 regular meeting. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. Oh. So we do have a separate resolution then for the, okay, that makes sense. So we're on D, sale of land bylaw for 32 Radisson Street. We already discussed this, it's all good, so who would like to move? Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. So this is resolution 2025-225, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council gives 3 readings and approves bylaw number 2003, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to enter into an agreement for the sale of surplus land at 32 Radisson Street to Andrew and Crystal Giannette for $20,000 plus applicable legal fees and costs. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, sorry, Taylor, now.
That's okay. I don't mind.
Know that you do like to present your reports, so please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, pretty short one today. Just wanted to, so no recommendations, but just wanted to update you guys, which most people probably know if you were driving downtown today. The CPKC 5th Street crossing upgrades were completed last week from the 1st to the 3rd, and then paving was completed today by Bruno's. So the crossing is fully open, and yeah, the upgrades are complete. And that's all I have for you guys today.
Okay, any questions? Thank you very much for having that done. It looks really great, and I'm sure all of us drove over it tonight to get to the meeting, and it's really nice to see. And people will notice as well that a whole track was pulled out. So instead of going over 2 tracks, you're just going over 1 now, because the one was redundant, I guess, and got pulled out and everything. So I know it's really difficult for people to be driving around and stuff. So we thank everybody for their patience. And yeah, is there a question?
Glenna has a question about the sidewalk. She said it was finished, just about the sidewalk there. We didn't mention that.
The sidewalk,
Yeah.
the sidewalk will be getting restored as well, just at a later date. We're just working
So
on
you're
those.
just referring to the crossing for the road, the vehicles
Yeah.
right now? Yeah. And Gail has a question for you. Councillor Westhaver, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I remember there was shorter time period for them to complete that. I'm just wondering because they extended it, maybe it took them longer, if there's any, increased cost to us.
Not at this time, no. We're hopefully actually looking to see a little bit of a cost savings because our forces ended up actually doing the asphalt removal and all of the road prep for the paving as well.
They were just delayed today.
Yeah, it was delayed. It's not like the work took longer. It was just that it was delayed there. Yeah.
They had to ground.
Okay, let's see some cost savings. That would be really strange and nice. unusual. Okay, and so thank you very much, Taylor. Does anyone have any other questions for Tony? Okay, thank you. Oh, I guess we have to, accept your report here. You're the briefest report ever, but it's all good. I know you're on holidays, so. Okay, who would like to move, Taylor's report? Oh, there you go. Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Resolution 2025-226, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Nipigon receives the Public Works Superintendent Report 2025 10702 for information. All in favor? Opposed and carried.
Enjoy your holidays.
Yes.
Thank you.
We had them already, so she had a good time.
Back.
Yep, back now. Okay, item 7A, this is Museum and Edge Arts, September 22nd, 2025, Museum Committee Meeting Minutes. All right, so this is, I believe this is for information. Or do we don't approve these things? No. Okay, does anyone have any comments? Now, Anne-Marie, you went to the meeting, right? Oh, you're the rep. Oh, yes, no, you're economic development. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, if you were at the meeting, then you can probably answer.
You did a lengthy report here.
Yeah, the minutes are very detailed, which is good. Sasha, do you have any comments on this one or questions? No?
I was gonna inform somebody else. Something.
You
sort
wanna
of was-
talking to them?
Yeah. One of the things we did at the end of the meeting was went for a little tour in the behind. And there's quite a mess back there, and then in between the buildings is a lot of scrub brush or waist high. And just some details have to be looked at back there. Where the rewiring comes in is still a dip, and somebody still could hurt himself. So I would hopefully, I think Lars said that there was a request for proposal out on removal of that building that's being entered by lots of people. And so it's not a good, stable condition. It's pretty rotten and smelling in there. So anyways, hopefully that's going to be tended to before snow flies.
You're talking about behind the edge arts, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we put out some quotes to get that removed and backfilled. So hoping to get that at least boarded up for the winter and to get that done in the summer.
The building is, behind.
Yeah, we're getting boarded up. Yep.
I'm not sure has Bernadette reached out to the Red Rock Indian Band representatives yet about the,
What's on her thing to do?
okay. About the documentary idea, okay. Okay. All right. Next, we have the May 29th and June 3rd Edge Arts Committee meeting minutes. Sorry, I have to get through the package. Oh, yeah, it's pretty lengthy report on the museum. I'm still getting through it. And there's one. Oh, should we talk about the terms of reference? Does anyone have any comments about the terms of reference for the committee?
And Mayor, those are just draft for now, but we'll probably have a few more tweaks.
Okay.
But if there's any concern, feel free to let us know now.
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about, and I don't know if this is in any of our other terms of reference, but we might think about start putting it in is, like respectful behavior at meetings and, I don't know how we could word that, but, just be respectful of other members and of staff, at all times, communicating with respect and all that kind of thing. So, I'm not sure if that's something that could be included in that, but I mean, everything's fine until it's not. And then it's difficult to deal with. It can be difficult unless you have something in the terms of reference that points to, you know, if you're not being respectful, you'll be you know, sort of warned about it, and if it continues, then you'll be removed from the committee.
We do have, one thing in the. We passed back in April, it was revised committees bylaw for the amount of committees, people on the board, and in that there was some code of conduct.
Yeah.
That they're supposed to follow the same as council,
Okay.
so that's a never, it's a good thought as a reminder, adding it in as a section,
Mhm.
or referring back to that part.
Just something else to note that I know that we have those signs up, I think we have them in the office here. And perhaps at the arena, but one of those signs that says, you know, we don't tolerate, I forget the exact wording, but the disrespectful behavior, and you'll be removed from the premises if you're. Not being respectful kind of thing, I think that should be something that should go up at the museum too. Okay, still looking through the museum stuff here. Oh, here we go, adjourns. May 29th and June 3rd. All right. Oh, gosh. That's supposed to be 2025, I'm sure. Okay, so note number one on the minutes, is that it should be 2025. Good check. Even when you pointed it out, I still didn't see it. That's, all right. Good job.
I fell asleep, but I didn't.
I'm really glad to see that the committee is continuing. I was just thinking about this the other day, actually. And I think the committee will be more important moving forward with Bernadette also doing the museum as well. The committee will be really helpful in bringing ideas to her to, I think, to execute, because she's gonna be pretty busy doing a lot of things, and which is great. But I think the committee there's a nice small group of people on there that have lots of ideas and great stuff, so. Yeah.
Mayor and council, we also did receive a draft strategic plan today to go through for Edgearts, for revised one. The museum is close behind, so I'm hoping in the next few meetings or so we'll have a final for council to consider.
Okay. I have a question should I call you Counselor Barber? I think that's what I'll do. Counselor Barber, do you have any thoughts about, any kind of, arts types of programming that people, from the high school, kids from the high school may be interested in? And if you don't, would you be willing to maybe bring some ideas to the next meeting about that? Maybe ask around to some folks that. What do you think?
There's lots of, like, I know one kid from our high school is doing a really big project on Indigenous paintings. So maybe that could be something, like an Indigenous painting class. Yeah, I don't know, there's like lots of art. A person who would talk about that would be Miss Rose.
Mhm.
She is the one that does the art classes there. But yeah, she'd probably have some pretty good ideas about what programs to do and what kids would like and stuff.
I know that when we were thinking about replacing that picture on the side of the general store there, we talked about getting some art, going on that, to replace it with some artwork instead of, or like print of artwork instead of having pictures again. So I'm wondering if that's something, that we can approach Mrs. Rose about, to maybe see if there's any artists, at the high school that might be interested in submitting their work and sort of doing, like, maybe not just one piece, but like 4 pieces or 3 pieces or something that might fit in there, and that's something we can look at budgeting for.
And they could bring them in here to look at.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Counselor Barber. All right.
Homework.
Okay, anything else for the alerts? But like I said, I'm glad that they're meeting again, and just make sure they hit the right year in there. Yeah. Okay, next we have the Thunder Bay District Municipal League. These are minutes from July 12th, 2025, and that's one of my groups that I attend, and we had a in-person meeting in O'Connor, which was interesting. It was good. Any questions about anything in there? They did have, if you look at, section 5.3, we are not the only ones that have issues with, dog control. There's a good discussion in there. There was, some information taken from like Greenstone and Geraldton about what they do and the challenges that they face as well. Because of course they don't have a shelter and, they're often unable to take dogs, running at large into the Humane Society as well due to their lack of capacity. So, what they do is they hold the dog for 72 hours wherever they hold it. And then at that time, a decision is made. If they can't rehome, they might have to terminate the animal, which is not good, but. Anyway, we're not the only ones that have some challenges there, so. Okay,
We don't have a holding.
nope, well, we kind of do. Our holding area, we kind of have one, sort of.
Makeshift.
Makeshift, I believe Public Works building, there's a kennel that's available to be kept there in a pinch.
So we are one of the few that can live fines.
That can lay fines, yes.
We're one of the few communities that have the set fines approved. That was recent, but that's a newer item on our end too.
Is that public knowledge? Is that public knowledge now?
It's been in a few meetings for sure. We were looking at putting it in our fall newsletter as like a revision of all of the bylaws that have come out, because now we have set fines for noise, set fine for animals, and now we're doing the revised property standards bylaw. So we would do all of those kind of as an update to residents in town in the newsletter. But we can put something out in the website, not a problem.
Yeah, so that's noted here in those, Thunder District municipal notes too, is Geraldton. Does not, the municipality can issue charges, but as yet to establish a set fine schedule, and so they're working on that. We've got all that
Yeah.
done and approved, so now we can lay, fines. We have a set fine schedule that's approved by the province now, so. Okay, and that was just for information. So we'll move on to the next thing, the CUPW Canada Post mandate review. That was an interesting read there, and so they were, asking us to support the request of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers to ask for a delay on the Canada Post mandate review. That is what people may have been hearing about. They were looking at, potentially closing down some rural post offices, which would include us. So that's something that, I'm not saying they would close our post office down for sure, but it's something that they're looking at. They wouldn't look at closing every single one. But yeah, it's a bit concerning, so. So we have a mover for this then, to support this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Counselor Westhaver and seconded by Counselor Cartwright. So this is resolution 2025-227 moved by Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Nipigon supports the request of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers to ask for a delay on the Canada Post mandate review and requests that the Government of Canada commits to a fully transparent public process involving input and hearings from all stakeholders in all regions. Okay, all in favor? You're not in favor? Nope, okay. So. Oh, I'm in favor. I break.
That's
Is
right.
there?
Good
Yeah,
idea.
I can vote. Well, I can always vote, but there's no need for me to vote unless but I do think that they should be looking at it a little more closely. I know they have to do what they have to do, sometimes, but. Yeah, okay.
Well, you have to wait.
You're abstaining though, you're.
Oh, no, I'm
You're
100% opposed to it.
Okay, so. Oh, we don't have that very often, so this is something different, so, all in favor, opposed? Okay. And then, so, yeah, okay, so.
The mob will see Cup W is not.
Do you wanna talk about why, you can talk about why you're opposed to it,
Sure.
yeah, go ahead. I'd like to hear. And it's carried, sorry about that, but we'll let Council Hart explain his opposition.
Cup W is a union that represents a lot of workers. There are workers locally in rural post offices that are not covered by that union. But the Cup W has ordered the other union also not one. That's mob mentality to me, and I don't approve of it. My own business and every other small newspaper in Canada relies on Canada Post. We can't send stuff, we can't get our papers out, we lose advertisers, we lose subscribers, and you put them out of business. For what? The writing is on the wall for letter carriers, there's just not enough volume. That's the problem, and Cup W seems to be going on something, trying to actually get more workers. It's right there in the resolution. We want more workers. It's like, but you have about a quarter of the amount of mail going out. Any proper business would have addressed that ages ago.
Makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have MECP correspondence, blue box collection. This is just for information, I
Yeah.
believe, yeah.
Blue boxes.
So this was to, NOMA, this was addressed to NOMA. And talking about correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm interpreting this is they are, the Ontario government is not happy because the, PRO, which, can you tell me what that stands for? Does anyone know what that stands for?
Producer responsibility organizations.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, so that's the group that's responsible now for paying for recycling, all these things, because they're the producers of it, right? So, what they're not planning on covering is the industrial, commercial, blue box pickup, right?
Yeah,
Institutional as well, so they're covering the cost for us to do a depot, but not to do pickup. And is that what this letter is upset about?
the concern, primarily with the fact that they're not covering the costs associated with commercial businesses. So essentially you guys get pickup on residential curbside collection of recyclables, but it doesn't extend to commercial businesses without the municipality having to pay. So part of the argument has been from other areas is that the producer is paying for it, so that should extend to commercial businesses, because you're actually still paying for the item when you're spending for it. So now municipalities are having to decide if they're gonna be covering recycling for those commercial businesses and if we're gonna pay for it. So,
There's always a catch.
Yeah, so, it sounds like the minister's not happy about that.
there was a request to reconsider, because there's been some farm businesses down in southern Ontario and up in eastern Ontario. That they have a farm business with a house on the property, they're not either be considered commercial, so they're not gonna pick up. Yeah,
And I think most of the recycling comes from businesses.
Yeah, a lot of it would come from the business, like cardboard and all that, yeah. Okay, moving on, again, for information, this is a correspondence from NOMA on the paper operations, but since this was written, I believe the government intervened, the, federal and provincial government, from what I've been reading, has intervened and is giving them a bit of a lifeline to try to figure things out, which is good. The mill or the tap does, from the sounds of it, employ about 2,500 people, so that's quite a hit. So, any comments on that? Next is the town of Aurora, a resolution, in regards to elect, respect campaign. Does anyone have any issues or questions about that one? Okay, so we have a resolution for this one. Who would like to move? Councillor Hart. And seconded by? Counselor Cartwright. So this is resolution 2025-228. Moved by Counselor Hart, second by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that the council of the township of Nipigon supports the resolution from the town of Aurora endorsing the elect respect pledge that commits to treating all individuals with respect in every setting, public, private, and digital. Speaking out against harassment, intimidation, and personal attacks. Keeping debate focused on ideas and public policy, not individuals. Fostering an environment where people of all backgrounds feel safe and supported in seeking and holding public office. Urging relevant authorities to ensure the safety and protection of elected officials facing threats or abuse. Demonstrating leadership through integrity, accountability, and mutual respect among colleagues and constituents. And that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Ontario's Big City Mayors, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and MPP Leans Bourgeois. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay, 9A, we have our economic development report, 2025-10-0501. This is the business case for reopening the Tourist Information Center. That's great. We put in a request for that last week or the last meeting, and we've got a report, so this is wonderful. And I'm assuming you can answer questions. Just so everybody knows, Brianna is off on a conference with the Economic Development Association of Ontario, yeah. So she's off learning a bunch of stuff, which is great. So here's her report. So her recommendation is that council receive this report and that council approve the reopening of the Tourist Information Center under option three, which is the partial lease model as outlined in this report. Okay. And we're looking at, if we do undergo option 3, that the partial lease model proceed as a 2-year pilot program with a final evaluation presented to council assessing financial performance, visitor feedback, and community outcomes prior to determining long-term continuation. Okay, so everyone's read the report. If anyone in the public is interested, I'm not going to go through the whole report, but it is very good and detailed. And has a good justification for reopening the Tourist Information Center, which sits idle currently and has for a couple of years now. Okay. Question? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor.
I was just wondering, remember Tesla was gonna put in a charging station over there, has that been done, you know?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay. So are we okay with the option 3 then that's suggested? It seems like it's the best business case scenario. Okay, so do we have a mover for this? Okay, Councilor Westaver, seconded by Councilor Hart. So this is resolution 2025-229, moved by Councilor Westaver, seconded by Councilor Hart. Be it resolved that the council of the township of Nipigon receives the Economic Development Officer's report 2025-10-501 for information, and that council approve the reopening of the Nipigon Tourist Information Center under option 3, the partial lease model, as outlined in this report. That council authorize staff to negotiate lease terms for partial occupancy of the facility with local business or community tenants, ensuring that tourism functions remain the primary focus, and that the partial lease model proceed as a 2-year pilot program, 2026-2027, with a final evaluation presented to council assessing financial performance, visitor feedback, and community outcomes prior to determining long-term continuation. All in favor? Opposed? And carried? One thing I will say though is staffing that, we just want to make sure that it's not only students out there, that they need to be supervised. That was just an issue that was there in the past. To make sure that everything's
She's very well aware of that.
Yeah.
fact.
That's good. Yeah, and I like this because it's so, you still retain control of the building and everything and, yeah, so this is good. Okay. Thank you for that, Sienna. Okay, next we have our October 10th, 2025 draft EDC committee meeting minutes.
First. October first.
October 10th. Oh, it says
It's
10th on
actually,
the-
it's supposed to be first.
Oh, it's supposed to be the first. Okay. That's okay. That's easy. Sorry, I gotta get through. Okay. Sorry, October 1st, 2025. These are just for information. Does anyone have any questions? Looks like, Counselor Hart, you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, and so is, CAO. Okay. Basically just an update on everything that we discussed, it looks like already anyways, so.
Moving right along.
Perfect. Okay, September 29th. This is the trail subcommittee meeting minutes. So I did attend this meeting, but this was with my Superior Country Pat on, as part of the project that I work on is product development with trails. So I will be attending as a guest at these meetings, to assist with consultation and advice on various aspects of trails. So it's good to see that committee up and coming again and yeah. Okay. All right, so we're down to any other business and we do have just before I go around the circle here. We did receive correspondence from the Grace United Church. Was in the process of selling their building. Yeah, and so this is in regards to the bell that when I was approached about this, I couldn't drive by it all the time, but I couldn't think what the person was talking about, but it's a bell about yay big and it's pretty heavy and it sits on top of the Grace United Church sign. So apparently it's about 100 years old or there and around, and the church group was hoping that wondering if the town would like it for any purpose, either outside or I don't know if it would go in the museum. But I think that's maybe something that we can throw to staff to think about and maybe come up with an idea and to communicate with the either Glenna or Janet. Yeah, go ahead.
When we discussed it, it was basically to put it in the cemetery. It was not for a building.
Oh, okay. Okay, so when someone spoke to me about it, they said they didn't have any idea of where it could go, but you're talking about it at the cemetery. Well, that's great. Okay.
There was, the idea of putting it inside cemetery because a lot of times people toll when there is a death or an interment, and we just thought that would be an appropriate reason, as long as.
Oh, yeah, sorry, we just kind of got this and I assumed it was just, what I had talked to you about the other person about, okay.
And everybody's like,
Yeah, the cemetery has, everybody on the cemetery committee has all agreed that we, do that idea. And people for services, if they're having a funeral, they can pull bell if they wanted.
Will there be a little plaque on the bell, maybe just to mention that,
running now.
but I mean a plaque, like just to
Could
say,
put one on there.
yeah, cause it's kind of.
Okay, the only other thing is, of course, we're under a timeline to get out of the church, but that, we're hoping is something we can negotiate with the people who buy, that can take time, because it'll require machinery to move it, because it's really, really heavy. And I don't know if you're expecting us maybe to contribute to install it, or what, that might be something that you could let us know.
Yeah.
Or on a pad, would it be
It
on?
would be nice if we could do it this fall, if not, I don't know what we'll see, but it's a very, very heavy item.
Okay.
And so it would just take some.
Who would be the contact there at the church? Would it be you?
Janet or
Or
I.
Janet, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we can have, maybe would it be Taylor that would? Okay, have Taylor reach out to them and,
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we'll, if we have the equipment capable, maybe that's something that we could look at internally to see
Yeah.
if they get it, depending on our rates. We'll get back to you on that. We did chat about it today, we support it as well.
very historical.
Mhm.
A little bit of story is that it was in the original church, which is on Second Street there.
Mhm.
And it was in the tower, and Reverend Tansley was the first real minister there. And one day when he was working, it fell down.
Yeah.
And just missed him, and it's the story always goes
Oh,
with the bell, but it's
That's
very,
cool.
yes.
well, it's nice of the church to think about doing something like that, though, it's a great idea. Okay, so any other business, we'll start with, Counselor Cartwright, do you have anything? Counselor Westhaver? Counselor Hurd? Counselor Barber, do you have any comments about anything? No?
She's looking forward to her homework.
She said. Okay, so we do have a visitor here tonight who's interested in hearing about any information that we found out. Just so people know, there was an article that appeared in the Thunder Bay newspaper about the scooters, the covered scooters going down roads and things like that, and that they don't belong on roads. So I believe our staff did a little bit of digging about that, and I did a little digging about it as well. And it sounds like, from my understanding, that they covered, even if they're covered, the scooters, that they go on the sidewalk. Obviously to cross the road, and obviously we don't have sidewalks on every single road, so, you know, if you're not able to get on the sidewalk, then you go on the side of the road and keep to your going with the traffic as if you're on a bicycle.
No, I think you're supposed to stay on the left side. As if you're a pedestrian.
As if you're a pedestrian?
Yeah.
That's-
Traffic.
Yeah. that's what
Bicycle
I'm
is treated
sure.
as a vehicle, so it would be on the vehicle or vehicular side. The scooters, no matter if they're covered or not, are treated as a
As a
mobility.
pedestrian,
mobility scooter,
Okay.
so.
I did not know that,
I
okay,
think I read it, that it's considered a pedestrian.
so you'd have to be on the opposite, not going with the traffic, okay, and then bicycles. Whether they're electric or bicycles are supposed to be on the roads,
Yep.
not on the sidewalk, they're supposed to be treated as vehicles and going with the traffic. That being said, because of the size of our town and the lack of the traffic in our town, I don't think anyone has gotten any complaints about any of the scooters. I know there has been some about the electric bikes going too fast on the sidewalk, they shouldn't be on the sidewalk. But,
There
I
have,
think that's,
there has been some ad hoc complaints,
yeah, oh, there, yeah, you
but
know,
there
about,
always are.
about the electrical bikes.
I almost hit one.
On the road.
in My parking lot because they were going so fast on the sidewalk and by the time you look to see like. They were there,
Yeah,
like they
Yeah.
shouldn't be on the sidewalk, like
Yeah.
you have a certain amount.
and I think that is the, it's a provincial thing, like it's a OPP thing.
It's a roadways, highway and.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe that it is, so if there is a complaint about an electric bicycle that's driving, I don't think there's a big problem with like just pedal bicycles. Being
No,
on the
they're not
sidewalk,
that
they're not supposed to be, but, if the electrical bikes, when they're going fast, if there's a complaint, you know who it is, you can call the OPP, but. By the time you call them and the person zooms away, unless you know who they are, it's hard for them to do anything, but. But that's from our understanding, that's all,
Okay.
so sidewalk, you're treated like a pedestrian.
Pedestrian, yeah.
You're good.
You're all good.
Driving by there and
No one's putting you in
No,
jail.
it's 10 kilometers per hour, which I know
Okay.
you don't.
Okay. Just a few things too, so citizen of the year, we should probably discuss that at our next meeting.
Yep.
So we can put out maybe a call for submissions, on that. Christmas party, if we can set a date, do you have a date?
That was on my,
Yeah.
any other business, is it typically a Friday, right? Is it Friday or Saturday we typically do that?
It
I
goes,
don't think it
goes
matters.
back and forth, but I know we did have it on a certain night because, so that the landfill. Person working at the landfill would be able to attend.
I think
Yeah.
Simi's already got it on her calendar, I think she said the night.
Most of them set the date, I mean, that's good.
should consult with her.
Is there any, if it's that's the Friday.
Usually, yeah, so what was the date?
Just want me to go and check?
No, we can do that after, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think she said the night.
We can confirm the next meeting.
19th of November. Oh, yeah, we usually do it either when it's to get people in the comment, well, it's just too busy, so. Anyways, yeah, we'll figure that out, and then we can, start getting the invitations out.
Friday or Saturday is fine for you folks. It's.
Yeah.
Okay. Either or.
Hopefully she hasn't started mailing out. 'cause every-
She doesn't take care of those invitations, she does the senior dinner invitation. I know we had talked we had, talked a little bit about potentially having a scholarship, for the high school. Because I've never been to a graduation, and someone I know went to graduation and I went through the things, and Nipissing does not have a scholarship, so, Red Rock. Township does, the Red Rock Indian Band does, and Nipissing does not have a scholarship. So I think that we could maybe put that on the next meeting to pass something to have a scholarship. And, the going rate is 500, but I would go for maybe 1,000, because 500 does maybe buys you a book nowadays, it's really a drop in the bucket. So if that's something we can afford, I would recommend that. And with the bell, and I think that's it. That's all I have. Yeah, do you have anything, Lars?
Just an update on council, that thank you for bringing up the Christmas party, because that was one of them. The other item that we bringing to council the next meeting, just for your awareness, is going to be a landfill card policy and updating a full policy as it stands. And just kind of some unfinished business on the landfill side. We're also working on a calendar right now that we're giving under 2026. So you can see all the garbage dates, recycling, everything on it. And so then it's just everybody's gonna get that, it's way easier. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, Counselor Hart.
Is there any thought for the fall cleanup? Dates at the landfill, of course.
There's spring thing.
We were looking at that, I believe it's gonna be happening in 3 weeks or so, we were confirming a date on that one. But it's gonna be, we did talk about it for sure for 26, but the plan is to do it again this year, yeah.
Having declared the old curling club as surplus property, when are we moving the
It's
the bins, yeah, the the recycling bins?
great question, we would do it, likely when the ownership takes transfer, when that's completed. We would, if not, try to do it in the spring when if we don't sell by that time. We've considered 2 options, one would be the landfill and the other is at a public works garage, there's actually some property that we own just, I guess, more towards the arena on that side, that's where it would go.
Okay. All right, we are going to move to closed session, so who would like to move this one? Counselor, seconded by Counselor Hart. So resolution 2025-230, moved by Counselor Westhaver, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved, this council now moves into closed session at 8:03 p.m. Under section 239 of the Authority of Municipal Act 2001 to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including labor relations, Baylor Township Manager, recruitment, student council application, and matters related to community member. All in favor? Opposed? And carried.
I was gonna say, Lars,
Anyone after the washing?
they're trying to get people to go to the hockey game, so if you have a party on Friday, Saturday night now.
Oh, cause the.
You can do it at the arena.
And the Christmas party. Resolution 2025-231, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this meeting resolves into an open session at 8:31 p.m. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay, so this is to authorize our CAO to proceed as directed. Resolution 2025-232, would like to move this resolution? Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. So 2025-232, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer is authorized to proceed as directed in the in-camera closed session. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay, and then this is the bylaw where to confirm the actions of the meetings held on or prior to October 7th. Who would like to move this one? Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Hart. Resolution 2025-233, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council gives 3 readings and approves bylaw number 2004, being a bylaw to confirm the actions of the meetings held on and prior to October 7th, 2025. All in favor? Opposed? And carried? Oops. Counselor Harper's not here. And this is to adjourn. Who would like to move this one? Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Resolution 2025-234, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Westhaver, that this council meeting adjourns at 8:33 PM. Not bad. To meet on October 15th, my birthday, 2025, for the next town hall meeting or at the Clover Mayor. All in favor? Opposed and carried. I'm gonna expect a cake at that town hall meeting. I just wanna let you guys know, okay?
Okay.
A cake. We're out of